So after the short I did on Tanya Walker, who was missing in Northern California, and her family were, looking all over the place. They was looking all over the place for her, and then the sheriff found her or located her body, what was remained of her body, in a Northern California hospital, and she was missing her eyes and her skin. Well, after that, I conducted a little research to see how often this happens. Of course, it's the internet is filled with whatever people put up there, so they pick and choose what they want to publicize, right? But I found an article. Correction, it's not an article, it's a study or an experiment that was conducted in the early 1900s about how to extract melanin from Black American skin or Black people's skin. I'll get into that after I share a few articles that I discovered on this topic. Not about extraction, but just how powerful and priceless melanin actually is and beneficial. But listen to this. I just found this article from New Scientist. It was published February 13th, 2025. It says most Europeans may have had dark skin until less than 3,000 years ago. And what have we been telling you folks? There are a lot of content creators on YouTube and other platforms who have been telling you that the world was filled with dark skinned people. Listen to this. Ancient DNA from 348 individuals suggests that pale skin became a predominant characteristic of people living in Europe much later than assumed. A study of ancient DNA from people who lived in Europe between 1700 and 45,000 years ago suggests that 63% of them had dark skin and 8% had pale skin, with the rest somewhere in between. It was only around 3,000 years ago that individuals with intermediate or pale skin started to become a majority. Hey, anyone who knows someone who is a hardcore racist, share this video with them. It's time for them to wake up out of their delusional world filled with fictions, hatred, and just plain ignorance. I'll be back. Hey folks, welcome back. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Newcomers, appreciate you too. Let's jump into this. I found something. Like I said, I found when I stumbled across that paper about a week or so ago. It had been on my mind, and then I decided to just go ahead and do a little quick video about the price of melanin and how they have been studying our skin and our bodies for years. Don't let the medical field fool you. They are very versed on our body, how it works. They just don't want us to know, and they don't put forth any kind of effort in really helping us because they don't want to, because they want to remain the superior race on paper. But check this out. Listen to this. Melanin itself doesn't directly help white people. It says, rather, the protective properties of melanin are inherent to human biology and provide a spectrum of benefits, with darker skin offering superior protection against sun damage by absorbing more UV radiation. Therefore, while melanin from any source offers this inherent protection, the question of how it helps white people is more accurately about understanding the biological advantage of higher melanin levels, which white individuals typically lack. I saw this other article where somebody asked a question. They said, I don't mean to sound morbid, but I heard that the skin of slavery era black people was sometimes used as clothes. It is probably an urban legend. I'm just showing you how they benefited from not only having us do free labor, they used our skin. You know how it's been reported what they did to Nat Turner. How they used his skin. They did diabolical things to that man, and chopped off certain his body parts and passed it around and used the skin. I think they made soap out of his skin. They did whatever you could think a wicked, diabolical people could do. That's what they did to Nat Turner. So when I read this and discovered this, I thought about how they have benefited so much from us, even doing the most barbaric, demonic things you could do to us and our bodies. Listen to this. Unfortunately, there is some truth to what you ask. I've read about many deplorable practices that occurred during slavery and Jim Crow. See, that's why when people try to whitewash slavery, these minions and puppets that try to whitewash slavery, they should be arrested. I have no interest in ranking these atrocities, but I can tell you that the account that troubled me the most was about the flesh of a unalive Black American or African being used to make shoes. I believe I first read about this in the archives of the Mouton Journal. I need to find out where that journal is, but I could be wrong. I do not believe that this practice was widespread or long-lived, but it did occur. Maybe it would be best if I attached a newspaper transcript that details the practice. It was gruesome, but then so was slavery and Jim Crow. This person, his name was Dr. David Pilgrim. He was a curator. The title of the article is Jim Crow Museum of Racist Imagery. Leather from Human Skin. Philadelphia News, printed in the Mercury, Saturday, March the 17th, March the 17th, 1888. I remember that 2 or 3 years ago, I incidentally referred to a prominent physician of this city wearing shoes made from the skin of Negroes. He still adhered to that custom, insisting that the tan hide of an African makes the most enduring and most pliable leather known to man. See, that's why they don't like talking about slavery, because they did some deplorable things. It's like, own up to it. Why are they always the ones that are always talking about accountability don't like being accountable? Let's finish. Only last week I met him upon the street with a brand new pair of shoes. I looked at his footwear, as I always do. His pedal coverings have an irresistible fascination for me, and said with a smile, "Is the downtrodden African still beneath your feet?" In the most matter-of-fact way, and without the shadow of a smile, he answered, "I suppose you mean to inquire if I still wear shoes made of the skin of a Negro. I certainly do, and I don't propose changing in that respect until I find a leather that is softer and will last longer and present a better appearance. I have no sentiment about this matter. Were I a Southerner in the American sense of the word, I might be accused of being actuated by race prejudice, but I am a foreigner by birth, although now an American citizen by naturalization. I fought in the rebellion that the blacks might be freed. I will use a white man's skin for the same purpose if it were sufficiently thick, and if anyone has a desire to wear my epidermis upon his feet after I have drawn my last breath, Here's my Morton permission. The doctor's shoes always exhibit a peculiarly rich luxuriousness in their blackness. He assures me that they never hurt his feet. The new pair he was wearing when I last saw him emanated no creaking sound and appeared as comfortable as though they had been worn a month. Their predecessors, he told me, had been in constant use for 8 months. He obtained the skin from the bodies of Negroes which had been dissected in one of our big medical colleges. The best leather is obtained from the thighs. The soles are formed by placing several layers of leather together. The skin is prepared by a tanner. At Wamserdorf, 16 miles from Reading, the shoes are fashioned by a French shoemaker of the city who knows nothing of the true character of the leather, but who often wonders at its exquisite smoothness and says that it excels the finest French calf skin. That's terrible. That is terrible. I can imagine what that man brought, what doors he opened up, spiritual doors he opened up in his life by wearing skin from a living mankind. I found this article that talks about the importance. It's a long article, but I'm just taking little snippets out of articles that I believe is very interesting, and it really breaks down or is painting a picture to you listeners, you audience, of how priceless and important and beneficial melanin is. And it's just been a psychological game to get us to like hate our skin and not even think too highly of it, not in an arrogant, nasty way, but not to think too highly of it so they can continue to manipulate us and use us to their benefit. When you don't give a damn about yourself, what do you care that happens to you, right? The molecule in humans that pigments or physical features called eumelanin has been known to have electrical properties. Now, with advanced technology, there have been groundbreaking studies that have resulted in forms of melanin that have practical conductivity levels. Researchers suggest that the superconductive and semiconductive properties of the material can be harnessed to improve sustainability, innovate bioelectronics, and advanced computer technology. Research is novel, however, and there are social implications to consider as we look to melanin as the wonder substance of the future. Now, when I read that part, has anyone heard about Elon Musk creating this facility where he is building this AI that he wants to be God, and he's chosen to build this facility in Tennessee, and the impoverished part of Tennessee where low income, impoverished black people live? And people were questioning that, like, you could build this facility anywhere. Why did you choose to build it in an area where there's extreme poverty around people who have nothing but melanin? Y'all better keep your eyes on Elon Musk, and keep your eyes on your people. If you just so happen to live in Tennessee in a poverty stricken area, better keep your eyes on your people, for real. And if you see anything happening that looks questionable when or if he gets this facility running, you better document it. And if the authorities don't do anything about it, bring it to the internet. Expose his criminal ass. Now, this is the paper that I discovered that was published. But check this out. The title is "The Extraction of Melanin from Skin with Dilute Alkali" by William John Young, the Australian Institute of Tropical Medicine, Townsville, North Queensland, received December the 23rd, 1920. I might read the whole thing. Okay, check this out. It's just one page. I only copy one page because I was not trying to read a whole report on this. I just wanted to give you the basis, so you see how they've been experimenting on our body and our skin for years. Like I said, don't let these people fool you, and that's why I'm so pro delineation, because we need our own medical facilities where we feel safe. We will feel safer going to doctors who look like us and who are us. We need our own doctors. That's it. We do. It has generally been assumed that the black pigments, melanins, which occur normally, are pathologically in animal tissues, hair, skin, feathers, etc., are chemically very inert substances, and in most cases, their insulation has been carried out by dissolving the tissue and boiling alkalis or strong acids. Thus, Abel and Davis in 1896 prepared melanins from both the skin and hair of a Negro by heating the material at 100 degrees, either with 5 to 6% potassium hydroxide or with concentrated hydrochloric acid until all the keratin had dissolved. Other investigators have used even more drastic methods, such as boiling with more concentrated alkalis or even fuming hydrochloric acid. That some melanins are really not so resistant to alkalis and acids was shown by Grotner in 1910, who investigated that the effects of alkalis upon the melanin of black sheep's wool. He extracted the pigment from the wool by boiling with successive portions of a 0 to 2% solution of sodium hydroxide, and from the first 2 or 3 extracts, he obtained a melanin of constant composition. Then it has the composition listed. That's a little bit of what I wanted to share with you. Basically, the steps and the procedures, scientific medical procedures they took to extract melanin from us, from our skin. Because melanin is very beneficial. It's not only is a cover and a protection from UV rays from the sun, it's beneficial in such a biological, scientific way that they hid it from us. Now you understand why so many black folks are coming up missing. Why so many black men, women, and children are coming up missing. And people want to come and, their go-to is to say, oh, well, it's conspiracy. And I said to you many a times, if you look up what conspiracy means, it means a group of people that come together with the same thought. That's basically what it is. The same, like 5 of us come together and we're thinking on the same terms about the same thing. Like, oh, you like red too? Yeah, I like red, and this is why. So they made conspiracy a weapon. They made the word a weapon, so they'll throw it out to take the credibility away from you. Oh, he's just a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist because there's more than one person thinking this, fool. So people, I implore you to do research, please. Stop listening to what these people are saying who have ulterior motives, especially the media. A lot of these people in the media, I'm talking about news media, they have ulterior motives. They want to keep their jobs. And a lot of these so-called influencers, these people on YouTube who have a large audience, some of them been bought and paid for too. I thank God that I was never the type of person and it just took people word for it. You can't just tell me something and I'm just going to run with it. I have experienced things like that where I trusted someone on what they said and I ran with it, and then I ended up looking foolish. And after that, the few times that happened to me, I said, no. I'm not just going to take what what you say to me and not verify it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not just going to take what you say and not verify it. And it's not about you being a trustworthy person. It's not about you being intellectual or not. It's just sometimes people get the wrong information and they're thinking they're helping you and actually they're hurting you. And then unfortunately you have some people who know they're not telling you the right information intentionally, and they want to hurt you. Come on, you can't walk around with rose-colored glasses all the time, because there are some people out there who mean you no good. They wake up in the morning looking to mess you up. And then I know there's some people sitting here like, oh yeah, you're being a little pessimistic, aren't you? Okay, well, go ahead. I ain't talking to you. If you thinking I'm just being pessimistic, I'm just being a negative person, go ahead and live your life the way you want to. Go ahead. And I'm sure there's some people who are buried now that wish they were a little more cautious with the people they surrounded themselves with, who ultimately are the cause of their demise. So I'm just saying, be cautious. There's nothing wrong with being cautious. And I hate when people are always saying, they say they're just a little paranoid when they're cautious. What happened to being cautious? Why are people saying that them being cautious is them being paranoid? When did that become a thing? Well, I was just looking both ways before crossing the street because I'm a little, and they say the P word. Like, that's you being paranoid, or is that you being cautious? Oh, well, I decided to drive my own car tonight because I'm going on a date. That's just me being a little P. But yeah, some people will accuse themselves of being paranoid just because they think it's safer for them, or they feel like it's safer for them to drive their own personal vehicle on a date with someone they just met. I don't see you being paranoid. Look up the definition of the word. It's not a good word. You know, I don't see you being paranoid. I see you being mature and wise and realizing you don't know anything about this man or woman you going out with. You just met them online. People can make fantastic profiles about themselves. You don't know them from Adam or Eve, and you gonna go out and trust that they gonna let them pick you up in their personal vehicle and trust that you gonna get your ass back home safely? No, you're being wise and cautious. It has nothing to do with being paranoid, because that's the times we living in. How many women and men went out on dates with strangers and you never heard from them or saw them again? It's like, come on. Damn. All right, folks. Like I said, I just wanted to put that out there. Black Americans, let you know how priceless your melanin is, honey. It's very priceless. It's more priceless than these transparent folks want you to know. They've been using our eyes and teeth and whatever else they could use during slavery. Would take the teeth of a slave in a minute and put it in their mouths. I don't know if these slaves were alive or deceased when they took the teeth and put them in their mouths. Oh God, can you imagine the things these people did? If you had the opportunity to go back in time and not be enslaved, but look from a distance and see how they were treated, would you? I don't think I would. I think it would be some kind of horror movie you didn't think anybody's mind can conceive. Or what are those things they do on the dark web, when they, do things, torture people and unalive them on camera? I think it'll be looking like that. All right, folks, I'm out. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope this was informative to you as it is to me. So I appreciate having an audience who listens to this information and believe is invaluable to them. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing and subscribing. Like I said, sharing is caring. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.